All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green, bringing you brand new interviews right here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, click on Patreon, become a member, all those great things. And you can ask questions of the guests, watch videos before anybody else. Today, I'm excited. I'm not excited about all the guests, but this is one I've been waiting for a long time. And we've been talking maybe a year or so, maybe a little more, about getting this interview together. We have Stacy Q here tonight, and I know a lot of people know Two of Hearts. There's a lot more to her story than just that song. But if your career only had that song, that's still not too shabby, because I feel like everybody of every generation remembers that. As I say it, you're probably singing it in your head or having flashbacks to The Facts of Life or Full House or any of the other things. She's got new music out now. She's also going to be on the Lost 80s tour, which is a great package. We're going to talk about that. I first met Stacy here in Las Vegas. I had the idea to have her come in and play with my band, the Sin City Sinners. Why don't we have Stacy play some rock music? Well, it turns out that Stacy, even though she's known very much for her pop career, she's a big fan of David Bowie and rock and roll music. And she came out and played some great songs and a rocking version of Two of Hearts as well. And I said, I've got to get her on the show. And she's here. So we're going to talk to Stacy in just a minute, right after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there can waste time with you. It's always a fun thing when I see people. I can see Stacy nodding her head to my song, and that's always a fun thing. All right, here she is, Stacy Q.
Hello.
Hi, Stacy. It's great to see you.
So great to see you too, Jason.
And I know we've been trying to find the time, get this done. You're in the studio, and today is the perfect day to talk. You told me you felt chatty.
I am chatty. You know, the older I get, the chattier I become. When I was young, I was very zip it, but now ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, just to start, Stacy, you talk about your being older. You don't say your age. You didn't say your age, but what I find interesting is you came out in 1986, the record "Better Than Heaven," which is the Two of Hearts is on that album. You were a little bit older than some of your peers. You know, at this time, you're getting your Debbie Gibsons and your Tiffany's and Stacy Q, but you were a little bit older. Tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Well, I think oh my gosh. Well, Debbie Gibson, first of all, was producing her own records when she was 14 or 15 years old. So that's what happened there. And then Tiffany, what a great singer for a young girl. Me, myself, I had no desire to be a singer at all. I was a dancer. And I met my producer and he said, I think you'll do. And so that's actually the big difference between myself and them, not to mention the 17 years difference. But
17 years. I mean, that says a lot. I will speak for myself. Every guy in the 80s had a crush on you, Stacy, and many probably still do. It's you have an interesting life. Some people, you say, well, I ran away and joined the circus, and they think that's just an expression. In your case, it's true.
In my case, it is true. Correct. I didn't really run away to join it. My mom sent me to the audition and said, here you go. You know, we didn't pay all that money for the ballet lessons for nothing. So, so I auditioned at the Forum. There were 88 girls in LA, and I got hired that day and left town with them 3 days later.
You rode elephants in the Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus, right?
Yes, I did.
It's so it's crazy. And you performed at Disney. You were was it mostly your mother getting you out there?
No, my mother is no, this was all my idea. My mother, she made sure that I got where I needed to go, but she's totally not a stage mother.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah. And so you knew you had the desire and you knew you had the talent. But it is interesting how you say it took meeting your producer. And a lot of things changed. The name Stacy Q, is it true that the Q is named after the James Bond character?
That is true. John's a big James Bond fan. So.
Yeah. And so that Do you feel like the Stacy Q persona was sort of created?
Let's see. Probably, but my job was to bring whatever I could to that persona. So that's pretty much what I can't really claim that that's me, the real me, because like I said, I was just starting out. I didn't know how to do that. Everybody heard me learn how to sing right in front of them on the records. So
Yeah, that's well, and you had good guidance, obviously, at the time. Stacy,
very good teacher, yes.
did were you told to lie about your age or not talk about it?
At one point, somebody at Atlantic Records said, "Oh, by the way, take 10 years off your age." And I thought, no, no, right. So it wouldn't make me feel better to say now hey, I'm 54 instead of 64. I don't see, it might, I don't know what it means to them, but it means nothing to me.
Well, you're a pretty, from the little I know of you, you're a pretty real person. I don't see you faking it, so to speak. The
Jason,
yeah,
sometimes I wish I was more magical or interesting, but I'm very ordinary. That's true.
not sure sure you would describe your life as ordinary, but definitely at that time we didn't have the internet. You couldn't just Google somebody and learn every single thing about their life and their
Right.
age and where they come from. And the song and if a song took off on the radio, it became infectious, especially a song like Two of Hearts. Tell me a little bit how you got involved with John's song.
Well, this song was written by some R&B people, and it was already an album. It was already out, and then it came across our desk, and then John, he thought he heard a hook, and so I said I didn't want to do it, and he said, "Don't worry, it's going to be just perfect for you." So and he was right, but I
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, "Why are we doing somebody else's songs at this point?" Because I thought we were all great. Yeah, so.
We're looking at the record cover for Better Than Heaven right now. This is 1986. And did it take a while to make the record before it came out, or was this pretty quick?
Actually, no, we had the single Two of Hearts independently before we signed with Atlantic. We had already sold like over 80,000 copies. So we didn't even have a record to go along with it. It entered the top 40, the charts, and we didn't even have a record. So we quickly, very quickly, like within 6 weeks, it was recorded and done and out. So,
Yeah, right. That the song took off. You had to have a product.
right.
Um, but John had music already. There were some of these songs were all ready to go. Maybe.
Oh, we had been recording for a long time, at the SSQ project and the Q project. It's just that we ourselves didn't know that that was going to happen, that like that quickly. So yeah, we
Stacy,
didn't have an album. So
yeah, Stacey, we talked about, I said a little bit in my introduction how you like David Bowie and you grew up listening to rock music. Did you, was there any part of you that expected to become a pop star?
no, no, I never thought about it. Never at all. No, not at all. Singing was not, I liked to sing along and stuff, but no. So it's just yeah, it's a miracle, a bloody miracle. My mother would say, my brother, I didn't know she could sing. So neither did I. So
Yeah, well, what a way to find out. Forget American Idol and The Voice and all these shows. You went and did it the hard way, and it paid off. Gotta ask you, and we're going to talk about some new music as well. But of course, there's people who are tuning in. They remember Stacy Q, and they definitely remember this right here. This is the Facts of Life. This is also 1980, I believe.
that
And
is so cute.
yeah, and on your right, the left of our screen, is young George Clooney.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this was after he was in the Return of the Killer Tomatoes or the other movies. He was paying his dues. He wasn't the Hollywood superstar he is now.
Oh
But
no, he was not that yet. Yes, correct.
Did what was your experiences with him?
Well, the thing is, there was a young lady that I knew earlier in life during my theater days, my community theater days. Her name was Linda Ortega, and she was actually engaged to him. So I had met him many years before, but he wouldn't really remember that. But through Linda Ortega, I had met him before. So he was very kind to me and very funny and very sweet. Everybody was, I have to say, very kind. It was a very great experience for me.
So how does this happen?
Well, like I said, I never had an agent or anything like that trying to get me work. They would just call up the radio, call up the record company and say, we want her for this. And so I would just go there. So that's what happened there.
Were you intimidated walking onto a TV show this was when it was massive?
I don't see. I had never even heard the theme song when I first got there. The theme song was playing, and I said, "Oh, is that the theme song?" And they looked at me like I grew 3 heads. They were like, "Oh, well."
That's
My
much cooler.
age, the age difference would explain that. Why I wasn't watching Facts of Life. I was aware of it, but not watching it. But it was super fun.
That probably makes it's much cooler, but it also makes the experience a little different because you're not starstruck, so to speak.
Correct. And so there's a fluffer. A fluffer, is that the right word? The comedian that works up the audience. Okay, maybe fluffer's the wrong word. Oh shit.
A fluffer is another thing. But
Yes.
you mean an audience?
As it were, the guy that warms up the audience. And
Yeah,
so
he could fluff them too. I don't know, but
okay, sorry. So then I come out there and he says STACEY Q, and they're all screaming and yelling, and he says, "Stop it. You must not clap for her louder than the others. She's just an actor here. She's not STACEY Q," and all this stuff. And I thought, that's very weird.
yeah, you were a character. You were Cinnamon, and that was a big deal to people. And Cinnamon returned. You it was not just a one-time thing.
Right. Yeah. To the sheer happiness of the rest of the cast, I came back for another episode.
Were people stopping you in the streets now and recognizing you from TV?
Not so much in the streets, but I heard that in Australia that they thought that I was a TV, like Kylie Minogue, like a TV star actress, and that the Two of Hearts thing was just a side thing. It was funny.
Yeah, I think
that was just not that I was actually an actress. And
yeah, I'm sure a lot of people thought that the show came first and the song came after. Not the case.
Right.
But so your TV career beginning, and then of course little Stephanie and DJ, they want to cut school and go to the STACEY Q in-store. We're looking at a picture of that.
So the way that I got that job was that Candace and her little friend there were big STACEY Q fans. That's the only, there was no big meeting about who was going to be in it. They wanted me, and so that's how I ended up there.
How funny! It's a good thing that the kids liked you, because why make up a character and you already known on TV, so why not bring in the
John
real?
Stamos and I, we grew up in Orange County together. Eat a burger basket. John Stamos. Yeah.
It's so funny. We're looking at a picture of you and John right here.
Yeah. Yes.
This is an old promo photo from ABC. But so you guys knew each other already.
Yes.
Stacy, where were you living at this time?
I was living in Fullerton, California.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never moved to Hollywood or anything. I stayed there in Orange County.
Probably smart. It sounds good.
I can imagine that maybe it's a better thing, but I never gravitated towards Hollywood anyway. So
yeah, you probably made the right move. It sounds cliche, like it happened overnight, but boy, were you the talk of '86. Were you feeling it? Were you saying, okay, something's really happening here?
Well, I have to say, when the publicity person, Kathy Aquaviva at Atlantic, shows me the results of the press that I did, it's like, there it is in black and white right in your face that worldwide, your top 10 hit song. So I was like, that's amazing, because I never wanted to be a singer in the first place. So for me, it's all just excitement and a blessing and fun, because I was never I wasn't trying to be a singer.
Right. It sort of just happened. And
Right.
maybe it's better that way instead of, worrying that it's
For me, definitely, because if I had had stress about wanting to be a singer, I've seen other people go through, and it's like I would not. That would be very difficult to want to get into a job and not be able to get in. That would suck. So.
Were you ever, Stacy, was there ever any bitterness that, I didn't write that song and now all these people are making money and there's a lot of royalties? Did that ever affect you?
No. No, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just proud of the ones that I did write, and that's good for me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a tricky thing, but you couldn't trade that success. I mean, you became a household name and you did write songs on the albums. You do write songs now. And so without Two of Hearts and these things, maybe we would have never heard of you.
Well, yeah, hello. Yeah, there's the beauty of John, somebody that's been in music since he was a young guy and wanted to be in it. I was the one that just got dropped in after the Circus with all the musicians, so I was the lucky one.
In 1988, the follow-up record Hard Machine comes out. Talk about it. Was there a lot of pressure on you to come up with another Two of Hearts?
There might have been, but I wasn't aware of it. I'm not very interested in that. No, 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 no. And I think the record speaks for that. I mean, it's just it's one of those records. It's not a conceptual record. It's every track is different. They don't all go together, and it's different from the first one. So, yeah.
Yeah, Stacy, I really like this. You don't have those expectations, and you're living and you're making music, and what happens happens. You're not going to sit there. Some people would lose their mind. The record company didn't do this for me, and this isn't happening.
Well, maybe once or twice I did go through that, and it made me a very anxiety ridden and not pleasant to be around person. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
and you've learned to sort of deal with that. You've had a lot of years as well. So
I love
1989.
music. I hate business.
Yeah, I know that. From the little experience I have with you, I've
So
seen it. 19, 1989, Nights Like This. Quickly following up, and obviously at this time that's what is supposed to happen. Tell me a little bit about that album.
sadly, my very best friend died the week before we started recording that. So it was a very unhappy time for me, which led me after that album led me to leave Atlantic Records after that record.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you chose to leave.
Yes. Yes,
So
I
what
did.
was the decision and why?
Well, I'll tell you honestly what happened in legal affairs. They forgot to pick up my option for the fourth record, so I was legally out of my contract. So I left.
And what was the plan? Did you want to make another record with someone else? What were you thinking?
Oh, I told Doug Morris. I told him of Atlantic. I said, I don't mean any disrespect. Maybe I'll come back to this another time when it's good for everybody. But I think I'm doing the right thing. So
You took a hiatus from music, right, Stacy?
I took a hiatus from Atlantic Records.
Mhm. Yes, I should. That's a yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing though? Because for a little while you stayed out of the public eye. What was? Tell us a little bit. What was happening in that time?
Um,
I know it's a lot of years.
I was healing, or trying to, get through with that. Yeah, Danny passing away the way he did. That was hard for me, and Yeah, I know people live and die every day, and you just have to go through it. But yeah, I sort of felt alone without him. So I just sort of took some time to lick my wounds and heal. I went to Nepal and started practicing. And so I just did my practice, and pretty soon things came back together.
Yeah, you and but it was a bunch of years that you took to sort of find yourself. And were you writing songs in that time?
Yes.
And some of that might be some of the music that we're going to hear now, right?
Yes, correct. Land of Snow and 2 Weeks in Paris are both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Your record. It's not you go by SSQ now, right?
well, I go by Stacy Q, but that we decided that record was not really, I mean, by the sound of it, not really a Stacy Q record. It's an SSQ record, and it's just the second one in 36 years. So,
Right. You did that right. You revisited it. It was time. It was time.
yes.
And so the album came out in 2022, so it's available now. You can get it wherever music is streamed. That's the great thing about maybe artists don't get paid as well through Spotify and things, but you can hear great music, and then you can also go out and support your artists. Tell me a little bit about SSQ. Tell me what it is.
Well, SSQ was what we named ourselves after the Q project, which we started in 1981. So SSQ, we signed with Enigma Records, and then Enigma signed us to EMI America. So SSQ was on EMI America with David Bowie and everybody. So that was very exciting for me to be on the same label as David Bowie.
Did you get to meet David Bowie, one of your heroes?
I could have, but I'm a starstruck person.
Mhm.
But
I kind of find that hard to believe.
my second record, he agreed to produce something which he doesn't really do that often. He does it for Iggy Pop, and that's about it. So
Mhm. And did he do it?
no, no. It turned out no, he did not, because yeah, I said thank you very much, but maybe another time.
See, I think you're the least starstruck person. I think that
I am the most. Believe me. The, are you kidding? Todd over there in Finland with all of those. Are you kidding me? I'm like, Todd. Oh my God. Todd is like, to me, you know how much I love Hanoi Rocks and all that crap, you know?
I had all the members, surviving members of Hanoi Rocks on this show, and I got them to reunite. It wasn't easy. I talked to each member of the
Oh my
band.
God. Was that you? Well, that's a beautiful thing, because
If
you
I
know what?
did one thing, I feel like I should run for office in Finland now
I
because,
believe you should too. You know
yeah,
what? Maybe you should, yeah, because now they've joined the UNICEF or whatever. No, the
right.
group.
Maybe I can get a dual citizenship. And there's some great music coming out of Finland too. A lot of
And the
great.
women are gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, you
Very
saw me on it.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to go, Stacy. But anyway, SSQ. So the project is back
Yeah, I
up.
lost that bet. I bet Todd, and he got there first. I'm like, I lost that bet.
And so SSQ, it was time to revisit it. Do you think you'll do Stacy Q solo records as well?
Yes.
I get the feeling you live in the studio. You like to be there making music, right?
It's my life. It's that's the, you know, you have to dedicate yourself. How else are you gonna get there? You know, unless you, yeah. Recording is not something that you can just like accidentally, whimsically go, oh, I want to be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl, and yeah, you're a big star. You know that, it's a lot more work than people probably uh, would think.
Which is interesting because your career did start in sort of that overnight sensation way, but to do it your way and on your terms, now you have to do it differently. And you're involved. Obviously, you're hands on in everything to do um, with SSQ. And again, I will put a link in the description where people can go and listen to the music, because it's nice to turn people on to different things. Do you still see? By the way, do you still get royalty checks from all that TV?
Yes, I do, and I do want to say thank you, the flight attendant, Kaylee. Kaylee on the flight attendant, thank you so much for loving me and putting my ringtone in there because, boy, were we happy. We got the greatest Chuck from Atlantic, and we were like, gee, I hope some other people put it in there. So that was really great. I want to thank her for that very much so.
Yeah, you could not have imagined in 1986 that Two of Hearts and Stacy Q would be still so. People are still so into it. Those TV shows we talked about are in reruns constantly. There's someone new exposed to the character Cinnamon every day.
In the old days, there were great singers and great performances, but people just didn't. After decades and decades and decades, they weren't listening anymore. Nowadays, they're still glued for some reason. Thank God. I think we really had something there in the 80s. I think.
Well, and speaking of the 80s, we're going to talk about the upcoming tour. But Stacy, one of the things that I really love about you is that you're not going to deny your past. Yes, the SSQ music is different than the Stacy Q music, but you're not you're not going to say I'm this, I can't be that. You know that people want to hear that song. The 80s is back. People want to have a good time. You're on the Lost 80s tour, which is going to go through this year into next year too, right?
That's correct.
And
Yes.
so I'm going to bring up the let's bring
Thank
up
you, Rob Juarez.
who is that?
Rob Juarez is the owner of the tour.
Okay. So here it is, Lost 80s Live. Tell me about some of the people on this tour.
Okay, well, so far I love them all. Some I knew before. The Animotion people, Bill and Astrid, I knew before. Mike Flock of Seagulls, just meeting him. Let me see. Oh, just meeting Dave Wakeling just last year. Now these people have been on tour for like 20 years on Lost 80s Live. I'm new, so it's just the last 2 years I've been there. So
yeah,
and my girlfriend Shannon is going to be on it this year. She's come over from the freestyle over to our tour this year. Shannon, Let the Music Play.
Oh yeah, that was a great one. Yeah.
Belinda Carlisle is going to headline a couple shows. Lisa, so that's new for us, but mostly it's just us, and I love it.
I'm sure what I love about these tours is that you get just enough of everybody. You get a couple songs from each artist, and you really get to have that playlist or mixtape, I should say, 80s party, and you get to see a lot of your favorites that maybe you wouldn't get to see. It's expensive for artists to travel these days, more than ever. So to have everybody together on one tour certainly helps exposure.
Well, I'll tell you, I got lucky there too. So I decided, I'll just go with the crew. I go overland with the crew, and so that saves me a lot in flights and things like that. So I win again.
Yeah. You, Stacy, you strike me as low maintenance.
Super duper low. Yeah, I could be the other way, but I don't have any practice at it. No, I'm a realist.
Nothing wrong with that. And when we had you out in Vegas, it was interesting. There were people that came to see Stacy Q who grew up in the 80s. There was people who were there who would like the SSQ. There was people who like dance music, a lot of different people. And then there was the hardcore rockers who usually come out. I remember Evan Seinfeld from the band Biohazard, hardcore band out of New York, watching and going, who is that again? And I go, well, that's Stacy Q. You remember Two of Hearts? And he's like, she's singing all these great rock songs. I go, yeah, well, you can't judge a book by its cover, so to speak.
Yes, I was rock when rock wasn't cool, buddy. So
yeah, absolutely. And you keep it going. Do you enjoy being on the road, Stacy?
I actually I do. I love to travel. I'm a Sagittarius, so I love
Me
to
too.
travel. Yeah. Okay. So hard work and sunshine outside and lots of hard work. That's what I need to survive. And so I made it this long. So
Yeah, maybe you're like a shark. You got to keep swimming. You got to keep moving no matter what.
I don't know, but I'm so ornery. I may never die. So
that's not a bad thing, right?
No, because the longer you live, the more you can say your prayers for all beings. So that's what that's for. You know, when
Well
you
said.
just have had enough and want to throw it in, fuck it, everything's bad for me. You know, just you gotta think of others. You know, you stay alive another day to make your aspirations for those that are coming after you. So
Yeah, you always have very positive outlook on things, which is a great way to be. Maybe not enough. Uh,
you know why? You know
uh,
why? Because my negative is just it's not good. So
so
yeah,
your escape is music and traveling, right?
music and traveling and my practice and yeah, yeah, music and dancing. I still love the ballet and philosophy. Yeah.
Stacy, did you ever start a family?
Um, no. Oh, you mean like get married and have kids?
Yeah,
No, no, no,
no,
no kids. No, I was
not for you.
working straight through that time. You know,
Mhm.
had I planned a little better, I would have done it differently.
Yeah,
I was
you're.
too young to know that you need to plan for that. So,
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what happens with a career. It takes over, and that a lot of time is lost. Uh, but you have you because you've kept a lot of your life private, even though we're talking about some of it now. For the most part, you've kept pretty private, and you don't
well,
do a
that's
lot of.
that's because most of my friends and family aren't. I'm not a Hollywood person that goes out. A Hollywood, you know, I'm not Britney Spears going out with her girlfriends or all that. I was just not that. Just nothing. That's nothing wrong with that. I just not. I just never. I just stayed at home in Orange County with my friends and my family, and then unfortunately, the third record when Danny passed away, I just was sort of strangled by sorrow. But I'm
Do you,
feeling a lot better now.
yes, absolutely. Do you think, Stacey, that because you were maybe a little bit older than some of the pop star kids, that you were able to handle it a little better?
Yes, yes, it's a possibility.
Yeah, because I mean, you are a survivor. You went through it. You're still here. I mean, you're playing the music. We've never heard stories of Stacey Q being arrested or shaving her head and breaking windows. I mean, it could have
Yes.
happened. I don't know.
Yes, but I also haven't been over here fighting like hell to be in there. I just sort of like going through life and what comes what comes, and that's sort of what happened. I never struggled to go. I must get back on there. I must get out there. You know, that's really not what happened to me. I just sort of tried to, like I said, heal and get better, and people started to, you know, if you're kind and respectful to people as you go by, you'll find that they'll remember you and they will ask you back, and that's what happened to me,
Yeah,
mercifully, thankfully.
you live that Shakespeare. Thy known self be true. You definitely live that philosophy. You do what you want to do and what you believe in first.
Oh yeah, if you're lying to yourself, you're never going to get to the you're never going to, yeah, it'll be a disaster. You have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we'll put a link to Stacy's social media. The management runs a page for her. I don't see you on Instagram and FaceTime, and I don't see that consuming your time.
No, in the near future, possibly we'll shut everything down and just go with one Instagram. But so far, no, I've never. No, I don't. I just don't. I I like my friends and I like my family, and I don't need fake company like and to quote Andy McCoy, and I don't need that attention. I've gotten enough attention, and not to not to say that I don't want to talk to everybody who wants to talk to me, but I have to, you know, it's I've got this you know, there's people sometimes they don't have your best interest in mind. So maybe it's better, all you young girls out there, yeah, just protect yourself. It's not that. It's not always going to be super safe. You know, where it's a wonderful thing, but please be careful out there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely good advice. Stacy, I'm really glad that we got to have this chat. I'm going to see you again. You're going to be at the Hollywood show, which is in Burbank. It's a collector show, and people can meet you there. You're always grateful to meet people, and you like to talk to the fans, and nothing. It's not a bad day when people come over and tell you how much you meant to them, and that it was important and tell you their stories. So you'll be out there, of course. Again, the Lost '80s tour this year, next year. Who knows? You could be on that tour for a long time. Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
I think the only hard thing is being away from the studio for you, probably.
Well, John comes out and plays guitar on some of the shows, so I don't ever feel too far away from him. He's really a very good and dear friend. We've remained so. So that's
How rare, yeah, especially in showbiz, to have somebody in your life that long.
Oh, you know what? You have to you a lot of people, a lot of relationships, they blow up and they don't make the effort to reconnect. Well, I want to tell people, if there's anything that you ever loved or cared about that person, that you should try, because it doesn't come along that often, you know? So,
Yeah, and you've proven it, and there's been a lot of ups and downs in your career, in life, in any relationship, in any friendship, and here you are this many years later. My math is not good enough to add it all up, but trust me, it's a lot of years, and to see you guys on the road and doing that. So I hope everybody will check out new music, SSQ, and go out and see the Lost '80s tour. Have some fun. Go back to a simpler time, right?
oh, it's gonna be great this year. Really, really good. New people acts on there. Sorry, when Tommy Two Tone was on there, we sure had our fun. But Con Can's gonna be on there. Some different people. It's gonna be great. Oh, the Untouchables, which are great. So.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun lineup. I look forward to seeing it. I'm going to look through the dates right now and see which one I can get to. Thank you so much, Stacy, for joining me.
Jason, thank you so much. It's so good to see you. And I want to thank everybody for your time, and see you guys out there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And